This is the Courier 13 podcast with Winter Andrews, a weekly think tank of in depth conversations among rising filmmakers. My goal with this show is to showcase the innovative talent and ideas that Hollywood hasn't discovered yet. Hey Doris,
Yo,
how you doing?
okay.
You hanging in there?
Yeah, I'm okay.
I feel that. I feel that. I'm really excited to be doing this with you right now. You are you have such an amazing story and personality, and I just think you're just awesome. So just having you here is a real thrill for me. Um,
Thank you.
no problem. Do you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself and kind of give an introduction?
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Yeah,
I'm Doris.
just say hi to everybody. Give a little wave. Yeah.
I'm Doris, and I'm a cinematographer. I graduated from DePaul last year, November, and then I'm freelancing right now. And I'm from China, actually. I'm from China 3 years ago, and then I arrived in Chicago, coming to DePaul.
Yeah. Because I've always been curious about this because we haven't even really talked about this. So you said 3 years ago you came, you immigrated over here. What was that like? One, how did you figure out what DePaul was like as a place to go in the Midwest to learn about film? And have you always wanted to be in film? Has that always been something that you've wanted to do? Or was that like just something that kind of emerged within you as you got older?
So, so the main reason why I came to DePaul is because my family lives here. My cousin lives here, so that's why I choose this city first, Chicago, and then I narrow down what school provide film, program, and then I actually, because I was a master degree student, so I mean I was looking for master program, so I didn't really go through Columbia's program because I think they're famous for like undergrad film school. Is it? Is it?
I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about
Okay.
Columbia. I
Yeah.
know people who go to Columbia, but also, I mean, DePaul undergrad. Let's be real. Is the superior, at least in my opinion. I know I'm a little biased, but that's just me. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah.
but also because my cousin, like my family was in DePaul, that's why I choose DePaul.
Uh huh. Okay.
And
I
then
never knew that actually.
you mean
So-
my family's here?
well, I knew that. I mean, I knew that you had family here, but I didn't know that that was the reason why it was DePaul for you. I
Yeah.
I thought you just
That's
that's why yeah. So that's interesting. What were your because you have such a unique style as a cinematographer. I mean, the reason why I mean, we've worked with you, me and Jimmy. Um, we knew that we needed to work with you because we saw your reel and we saw how you were able to really produce these images that were incredibly surreal and like really creepy and interesting. Have you always liked doing that? Like, are there certain like
why.
other filmmakers or like influences that have inspired you to do that?
Mm, so, um, to be honest, when I was in college, I wasn't in film major, and I didn't know what to do until like, I settle down. I think about like my life, what I like to do in the future, and then I pick oh, maybe I can go to American to learn about film. And then so Chinese people, they need to go to apply for visa, and then the people in there, they were gonna ask you question like, hi, why you go to America, like why? So I tell them, hey, so I'm gonna be in a film. And then he asked me, what's your favorite director? I was like,
Whoa.
and then I told him, okay, I like Tim Burton's movie. So he's
Do
like,
you
oh,
do you really like Tim Burton?
I really do.
Okay,
So
that makes sense.
the thing is, I look kind of innocent, like
Mhm.
innocent, like nice girl,
Right,
but
yeah.
my projects are, I really want to make it like really hardcore, but pretty, but hardcore.
Yes. I
So I think Tim Burton, visually, he combined these two things, like pretty and scary, very well balanced. That's one of the reasons I like his stuff. And then, yeah, that's the answer I gave to the guy. And then I think it fits your problem, your question.
yeah, no, that makes so much sense
Hmm.
now that I think about it because you always make these really pretty shots. I mean, everything that you do, there's always an attempt to make it look very beautiful, even though it's so creepy or strange or whatever. And I think Tim Burton, I mean, I think you do something that's very different from Tim Burton, but it is very much inspired by that. Um, yeah, no. I mean, do you like Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice, like those movies that he
Hmm.
does or that he did?
I think my favorite is the Holly sleep.
Sleepy Hollow?
Uh,
Did he make a movie?
like,
Sleepy Hollow?
is it not him?
Um, let me look this up.
Am I telling, okay? Am I telling the wrong one? No, no. But I think,
Sleepy. Yeah, no, Tim Burton, Sleepy Hollow. Yeah, no. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember this film. Yeah,
okay,
no.
I don't want to embarrass myself.
No, no, no. It's on Netflix if anyone wants to watch it. No, yeah, because I get all of his movies confused because he makes so many with Johnny Depp. So when you said that, I in my mind I thought of what's his other one, the musical with Johnny Depp. Oh my gosh, and it's the dude who cuts people's throats with the razor blade. The barber shop, the Sweeney Todd.
Oh,
Sweeney
Todd.
Todd. Yeah, Sweeney Todd. Yes. I got it confused with that one. That's so cool. So are there other horror directors that you really admire or cinematographers?
Um, so to be honest, I like my image hardcore, but I'm not like too big fan of horror film, just because my heart but can't tolerate that. But but thrill film is good. But my favorite type of film is like those kind of classic classic look. Have you watched Autonomous? Autonomous? Is that how I say?
Atonement? Yes.
That one is my favorite.
Of all time. That's like your number one
My number one. And
favorite
I
film.
mean, there's like a same number one film. It's called Per Film.
Her?
Per Film.
Her film?
Per Film, the story of a murderer. The whole name is
Okay, her film. I have not seen that, but
Perfume.
I
Perfume, like the spray perfume.
oh, perfume. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, perfume. Yes. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
A professor recommended that I watch that.
Mm.
I have not watched that. What's that about?
Mm. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well, I mean, don't give
Oh,
away
it's
the
about
ending, but like
a, a guy. He has a very sensitive nose and very creative mind, so he can make perfume. Like he's a genius of making perfume, but he's like so into human scent. So He just started to use girls to make perfume.
Oh, oh, damn.
So it's like horror. It's not kind of horror, but a thriller, but like super pretty, super pretty. So you
I,
see, my type of movie is like oil painting, but creepy.
oh, that's an interesting way to look at it. Oil painting, but creepy. I feel like, yeah, knowing your stuff, yeah, that is kind of what it is. Yeah, I can see that. Um, yeah, I'll definitely, you should definitely send me your reel so that when I post this, when I upload this video, people can actually see your stuff because I think it'd be really awesome if people saw like these images because I mean you're just so good at what you do, really, and you're very professional. Can I say you're one of the most professional people I've ever worked with? Like you're very sweet, you're very nice, but also you're kind of you're kind of like no nonsense at the same time
It
on
is
set.
no nonsense.
There's no nonsense. Do you? I mean, do you see yourself as that kind of person?
I mean, I'm nice to people.
Oh yeah, no. I'm not saying you are a wonderful person to be around. I'm just saying like when you're in the zone, when you're like
Working.
ready to work, you're like, okay, let's go.
I
Like,
think, I think, I think that time I was, yeah. I mean, when I'm working, right?
right, right.
I don't give attitude to people. Really? Do I? Do I give people attitude?
No, no. No. I just remember when we did the climb. What I found so amazing was, and me and Lauren Barry were actually we were talking a few days ago, and we were talking about you. And we were so amazed that because you're a very tiny person,
Yes.
and you would just take that huge red camera and just like hoist it on yourself, and you're just like, let's go,
Let's go.
let's
Let's go.
go,
Let's go.
like it was nothing, like it didn't weigh anything,
I
and
mean,
that
I have
was
the
so
bra.
fun.
Remember our bra?
Yeah, but even like that's a heavy camera, and you just picked it up with like it was nothing, and just hoisted it on yourself, and you were ready to go. You had so much energy is what I'm saying, like because that was a grueling set, and it was cold. We had to change
Is it
location.
cold though?
Was it cold? I thought it was pretty cold. Did you
I only
not think
wear
it was
one
cold?
layer though.
What?
I only wear like one or two layers.
Wow, I mean, well, I guess I only wore like that heavy coat and then some like boots. I wore jeans the whole time, so yeah, I guess I wasn't like that bundled. But we did stuff at night, and that was cold.
Oh yeah.
And the day it was fine because the sun was out. It was okay. But yeah, no, some of the night stuff was rough. Um, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this because now this has got me thinking. Like, I feel like you have such a good way of conducting yourself on set. How, in your opinion, how does a really good cinematographer or a very professional cinematographer conduct themselves and interact with other people on set? Like, say, their directors, the set designer, what have you? I know that's a loaded question. I know. Yeah, I know. We have to think about this because there's so many different ways to go about it.
Um, I think communication, of course, is a basic, and I kind of, I kind of forgot what your question is.
I guess my question is like, oh, maybe I'll phrase the question in this way. When you've seen bad cinematographers who do a bad job, why do you think it is that they do a bad job? Do you think they're just not prepared? Do they not know how to talk to communicate with their directors? Like, what is the reasoning for a cinematographer not doing their job right?
I think, well, the first main reason is lack of experience. And I totally remember the first time I was actually DPing something. I mean, the short looks good, but I was so nervous because that's my first time. And I was working for Caitlin Pretzberg, and then it's a short about how like about two girls like some internal struggle, but so it's like a female based, female heavy set, and then so at the moment she asked for like she asked for G&E people to come on set, but the headquarter of the G&E people, they just keep bringing a lot of person on set, like a lot for like such a tiny room. So it's kind of freaked me out because I don't know how, like, so many people, I need to tell them what to do. So that's a very good experience of like communicating with different head department.
Hmm.
And then and then after that, I am a little bit more confident with dealing, like negotiating on set, because no matter how well prepared you are before the shoot, you always have some random stuff happen on set, so it's very important to like negotiate. And
What do you
then
what do you mean by negotiate?
like you need to tell everybody, like everybody, because if you take the responsibility to be the headquarter as the DP or as the director or any other rule, you have to tell people what to do. Like you can't just like freak out, you can't just waiting for people, like waiting for director to tell you what to do. You have to like make action. You have
Mhm.
to be aggressive. No matter like how kind of sweet person I am, I have to be aggressive on set,
Right.
but
And
not like disrespecting people.
exactly. And I think another thing is too, like, say like a director has a certain vision on what like a shot should be like, but given certain circumstances, whether it be the weather, whether it be resources, you can't give him or her the shot that they want,
Mm-hmm.
but you can give them something else. We can do something else that will give the effect that you want.
Mm-hmm.
So is that also like a part of that negotiation? Like, hey, you might need to sacrifice a little bit of your ego right now so that we can get this shot done. Yeah,
Exactly.
I think that's huge, and that's the thing I actually learned from working with you on the climb was that negotiation process, and I learned that with a lot of other people on that set. But it's like, and it's hard for a director because it's like you have the vision in your head, especially if you're a director who like storyboards and like has all the specific shots layered out, and then say a set changes or location changes, you have to completely rethink it. And then you're like, oh, but I want it like this, and why is it not going to be like this? And then I feel like it's great when you have people around you who are like, okay, listen, you want to get this scene done. I understand that. And the only way that we're going to get this done is if we do it this way. Let's do it this way so that we at least have a scene. And we'll do our best to make the scene happen the way that you want it to happen. Does that make sense?
Yes, I still remember you guys gave me such a big shot list. And I was like,
Yes. Yes. Yeah, no. And well, that's when you know we were first time directors.
mm-hmm,
Was because our shot list was, we had so many, we were thinking about like every single angle, like to shoot. And then when you actually get there and you realize, oh, we actually have a time constraint, we can't do all these shots and it makes no sense to do all these shots, then you're like, oh, okay, which shots actually matter? Like what's
I
actually
remember I
telling the
just keep
story?
like, hey, no, no. I keep saying no for you like a whole night.
You're like, no, no, we
No,
don't need this.
no, we're
We
not
don't.
doing this.
We're
We're
not doing this. Yeah, I remember it was funny. I remember when I think it was like me and you were at the DePaul library, and I just like slammed down a huge stack of like drawings and stuff, and you were like, "You guys are first time directors. This is a
Why you guys
lot.
want to do that much?
Like this is so much. You're gonna need all these shots to tell this story. Like, are you are you sure?" And then and you know me being inexperienced, I guess, for lack of a better word, I was like, "Oh yeah, we could totally do it. Like, there's no problems." And then what we learned,
How do you feel from like how your mind switch from beginning, how you prepare it, and to the end, how it come out? Like what's your expectation and then how it turned out in reality?
for the client specifically,
Mm-hmm. Because since it's your first project, first ever,
uh-huh.
is it your first ever projects or like a first
It
bigger?
yeah, well, really it was my first like thing that I was directing ever. Yes, it really was like my first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I just want to make sure I got the question right. So you're asking me like what, how did like what were my expectations going in, and now how do I feel about it finishing?
Like like when we were talking about how I cut down your shots,
Mm-hmm. Right.
it's kind of like how do you feel at that moment? And then when it's actually filming, how do you feel like you have so many shots?
Mm-hmm.
But are we like really necessary to have those shots or no when you are actually on set?
Right. No. Yeah, and that's a great question. I Yeah, no, I remember when we were storyboarding it, I was like, all of these shots are necessary. Like I'm like, we need this shot, we need to get this angle, we need this insert, we need to have all this shit covered. So we'll have as much, you know, as many um options necessary in the cutting room. That was my thought behind it. And in a way I think it's good to have a lot of options, but I think we took it to a huge extreme that was not necessary. So when we were going into it, I totally thought this was necessary. And when people were like, "No, you gotta cut this down," I was like, "Well, that's gonna affect the story." I was like, "No, you can't. That's gonna hurt it." And then I think once we got on set and I realized our time constraints, and then me and Jimmy would like go in the back corner and be like, "Okay, what shots do we absolutely have to have to get this scene across?" And what we realized was when we were very concise like that, once we got to the editing room, like after it was all over, and we sort of like rearranged the story, we changed up a lot of things as far as the narrative itself. But I realized like, oh, it was better that we had fewer shots, like because because in our in for this film specifically, a lot of the shots um, hang on for a long time. Like there's a lot of beats within a shot, and like we wanted to have this sort of feeling like time was slowing down, and then it would ramp up later. But at the beginning, everything was slow and moody and um, sort of like felt hollow a little bit. Um, and so the fact that we didn't have so many shots happening on screen benefited it a lot. So yeah, so looking at it from beginning to end, I'm so grateful that we didn't kill ourselves getting all those shots. Yeah, no, you were I mean you and everyone was absolutely right about that. We didn't need all those shots. I think it's good to plan ahead and be like, "Ooh, I might want this, I might want to do that," but when you're there, you definitely have to be like, "What do I need?" Not what do I want necessarily like, you know, in the sense of like I want all these angles, I want all these options. What is the true way to do this scene? So yeah, no, so you were right. Basically, the moral of the story was Doris was right, we were wrong.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
I I feel like just because we were still students, so just keep learning, getting experience, and you were so new, right?
Yes, yes.
I
No,
mean,
I was.
I am new too. I do. I'm really new.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
I don't have any background before I came to the United States. I mean, I have photography background, but to film, it's a brand new, different story.
Uh huh.
So I'm learning a lot.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the most important thing is that we all learn something from that. And I mean, yeah. I mean, this show is for young filmmakers. I mean, we're all whether we're in school or just getting out of school, we're all starting out. You're gonna the only way that you learn stuff and you actually get good is if you go through if you like put yourself out there, get that experience, and then you're like, oh, you know what, would have been so much better if we had done things this way, and then the next time you do it that way, and then you're like, oh, this is so much easier, this is so much better, I have more time to just focus on the art. You know what I mean? um no, no, and it's yeah, what are you gonna say?
Question:
Yeah. Oh, please. I feel like you're interviewing me now, which is really cool. I like this.
how do you like co-directing?
I love Jimmy. You know this. I love Jimmy. I would never co-direct again, though. And I think Jimmy would feel the same way about it. It was amazing to co-direct with him because I think, especially for this project, we were very aligned with what we wanted the vibe and the tone to be, and we were really there for it. Um, and me and Jimmy are just really good at talking things out and like sharing ideas, and we're just good friends. I mean that just really helps when you're friends with someone. I think just the problem was the only reason that I wouldn't co-direct again, and I now know that I wouldn't co-direct again, is I because we learned so much on that set. I think it gave me and Jimmy the confidence to be like, okay, now we can go and do something that is ours, that like we just want to do. And you know what? I would never ruling out co-directing with Jimmy again because obviously we have that bond and that relationship. Um, but definitely, I mean, like the stuff that I'm doing now, like the minis, the I was talking to you earlier about the web series. That was just something that I was like, you know what? I'm really passionate about this idea. I want to make this into a thing, and then it makes, I feel like, because I think with co-directing you have to it's almost like you have two jobs. You have to communicate your vision to all of your crew heads and to the crew, and you have to make sure that that vision is completely aligned with the thoughts and ideas in your co-director's head. Like you have to be 100% like always on the same wavelength, especially when you get on set, right? And that was probably the biggest hurdle that me and Jimmy had to go through, which is always like checking in with each other and being like, okay, is this exactly how me and you both see this, or is this just how I see it and you're seeing it in a different way? Do you know what I mean? And I think it was such a blessing to have co-directed it for my first time because we got to learn it together, and that was awesome. And this was a night like the climb was something that, because me and Jimmy met on a study abroad trip, and he was talking about the idea for the climb. Well, yeah, I don't know if you know this. Me and Jimmy met in Rome. Yeah, no, it's a very elaborate story. We met in Rome, and we were like, oh, we're both writers. oh, this is awesome. And it was very easy for us to vibe with each other. And he, because I've really only written screenplays and like pilots and like TV shows and episodes and whatnot. But he writes novels. I mean, like I think he's working on a novel right now. Um, he was like, I got this idea for a vignette, or like a little novella, like something really small, like a really small book. And it was inspired by the deer disease. That this is a real disease that's going on in the upper regions of Michigan, like where Jimmy's cabin is. It's like the deers are being infected with this disease, and like it's messing with their brains. And he wanted to write something about that, and he wanted to focus on this man and this idea of guilt and of loss and of like losing someone close to him and him not being able to reconcile with that. And then I just said to him one day while we were on the trip, I'm like, why don't you just make that into a short film? This sounds like an idea for a short film. And he was like, oh, wow, yeah, I would like to write it in a short film form. And then he's like, would you like to direct it? And I was like, oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. Once we get back, yeah, I'd love to direct it. And then once we got back and the script came together, because he wrote the script. We had a couple of meetings as he was writing it, so we figured out some of like the ideas of like how the story was gonna flow and stuff like that. But then once the script was done, we were just like, let's just co-direct this thing, because neither of us have directed before. Let's just do this together. And it was a journey. And yeah, and then a new journey began. And it was so great, honestly. There was a lot of stress involved, but yeah, I'm so grateful that we met and we were able to do that together. Yeah, I'm shocked that you've never heard that story.
no, but tell me.
No, I guess that's true. Unless either Jimmy and I told you, you wouldn't you wouldn't have known that. Wow.
Now everybody know.
Yeah, now everyone who watches this, you all know me and Jimmy's personal story a little bit. You know a little bit about it, but yeah, no, yeah, yeah, but yeah, no. To answer your question, what did I think about co-directing? I liked it. I wouldn't do it again, not for a very long time, just because I feel like I'm ready to do something, to do something else. And I'm excited for. Jimmy's been talking about doing another short for a while. I don't, because he's been bouncing around a couple of ideas, and I don't know if he's decided upon anything as of yet. But I, because I again,
He sent me a script before,
yeah,
and then I don't know like what's next so far.
uh huh.
I mean, nobody know what's next so far, so.
Well, that's another thing. COVID makes all of our plans a little weird. It makes it a little funky, you know.
Is it so are you still in school, right?
Yes. So
So
this is my last year.
how is DePaul like dealing with this thing right now? Like, are you able to use gear, or are you
Honestly, can I be real with you? They're doing a terrible job.
no?
They're no. You cannot rent out advanced gear from the camera vault. I don't know why. Sorry.
But
I don't.
how about if you want to rent out some gear from rental house, but you use the insurance from school?
I think that is a possibility. I
Mm-hmm.
think you can do, and I think that's, as far as Niobe goes. I think that's our plan right now. We're trying to work it out with DePaul in that way. But honestly, it makes no sense that we can't rent out the equipment. All you'd have to do is like disinfect it. Like once you bring the camera back in, you bring it back to the vault. Whoever has it, immediately disinfect it, wipe it down, spray it, whatever you gotta do. but they're like, no, we don't even want to have that as a liability. Which, I mean, that's really what this is all about. It's like DePaul doesn't want to be liable for anything.
Is
Which,
it okay if we put this part in the
oh
in the
no,
call?
what? Say that again.
Is it okay if we put this part in the in the conversation, like show it?
Oh yeah, dude, yeah.
Really?
I want someone to show this to DePaul. I mean, to just to see. I mean, I'm frustrated. I'm
I think
frustrated with these guys.
everybody is frustrated about this, what's going on. Because like for me, I started working since August.
Hmm.
August. Uh-huh. And then I already like rented out a different camera from different rental house that they're doing a pretty good jobs
Yeah,
in, yeah, to sanitize it. As long as you do the proper jobs, you can like students can still be able to use stuff and make stuff.
yeah. I mean, that's interesting because I mean, you literally just said it. Like, yeah, all these rental houses, they're able to do this and sanitize it, and everything's okay. Why can't DePaul just take a nod from those people and just be like, well, we'll do what they're doing? That seems to be working.
It's okay.
I don't know. I don't know. It is okay. We'll figure it out. But yeah, honestly, I don't think I've really asked you like how is being a freelance cinematographer? I mean, I've heard about your projects, and when I see you on Instagram and all the amazing stuff that you're doing, but how's that been?
I think I think it's really depend on how like your personality is, because like normally I'm kind of shy and kind of don't know how to deal with a lot of stuff, especially in America as an Asian woman. So I think it's just because I'm a little bit lazy to like really look for opportunity. But sometimes when people reach out to me, they're like saw my work, my website, my portfolio, my Instagram, and they love it, and that's why they trust me. Um, yeah, but I think freelancing for me right now is kind of like I need more.
That's
You know,
you
like
you lazy? I don't buy that.
no, I mean lazy for applying for jobs.
Oh sure. Well, I
Not like
mean,
lazy, but like
yeah, I get what you mean. No, it's like even yesterday I was just like, and maybe it's because we're artists and we're like creatives that this is why it happens. But like, I got I got a couple of things done yesterday. Like I uploaded like the podcast episode with Danielle, and like I did a couple of stuff, and then I was just like, I knew I had more stuff that I wanted to do, but then I was like, I don't want to do it for some reason. Like I don't like, and it's weird. Now, as far as writing goes, that never happens because I always want to write. I always like feel like I gotta write, and if I don't feel right, and if I don't write for whatever reason, I feel really really guilty. Um, but I think that it's important to like not always be like running and like going from thing to thing all the time, because like for at least for a director and like a writer, like normally we stay on projects for like forever. Do you know what I mean? And even a cinematographer, it's kind of the same thing. Like when you go on a project, you're guaranteed to be involved with that from pre-production and into production. So you're in it for a little bit. Like editors and producers can kind of jump from project to project, so they're very much in that mindset of like, okay, I need to go to a bunch of different things all the time. Whereas writers and DPs and directors, in my opinion, we're very much like, because of how we work, we're very much like, okay, let me start with this one thing and I'm gonna like see it all the way through and really go into that instead of going from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like,
Yeah, like you have to concentrate on one thing in this in the time.
yeah.
So,
But I
and
feel
it's
like,
really like mentally and physically challenging
hmm,
making films.
oh yeah,
So it's like after a while, just like, oh, so exhausted, I don't want to do it. And then after a while, it's like, ah, I want to make something.
right. I think that's how you know that you should be a filmmaker. Like you do it and you go through a really crazy project and like it took so much work and like it's really and it was just such a big thing to do and then you're just like oh I don't ever want to do it again like the second that it's over you're like oh I don't think I don't know man that was so much and then 2 weeks goes by and then you're like shit I gotta do something I'm so fucking lazy what's wrong with me like I like ah man I want to do another story I want to do the next thing and that's yeah I mean that's like really important to me to like feel that like I'm creating a body of work you know like it's not I'm not just a one hit wonder like or like a one note kind of person like I can make different things and each project will be a little different than the last one
More improvement.
more improvement it's yeah I don't even know because yeah yesterday I was just having a really difficult day I don't want to like vent to you about like a rough day I was having but I was just I think it's because I finished writing Niobe and that was like my thing for like the past 6 to 8 months and now that's like it's in other people's hands now like Danielle and like other people are like doing things with it and I kind of have to just like wait around
You just
until
feel
like
so empty.
yes I feel empty I feel like wait other people are doing shit with this now I
What about
what
me?
about me it was my baby it's my child why did you but I
Yeah,
get
same with
their job
like cinematography. Once I done all the thing and then give the footage to other people, it's like, what are you gonna do with my baby?
right no and yeah because you I mean the reason that this shit looks so good is because of you so I mean if it doesn't all come together right it's kind of like
I mean, first of all, you guys are really like pre-planned a lot of stuff. That's what I really like working with you guys. Like, you make sure you have the good location. You make sure how the blocking is gonna be. You make sure like costume, props. Wow, that's like
well I will say me and Jimmy did plan stuff. We planned things out a lot and things changed once we got on set, but we had you, we had Rowan, we had all of these really great people who made it easy for us too. Do you know what I mean? Like you were talking about wardrobe and costumes. Rowan was like so on top of that. So by the time that we got there, and she made it, she made a crawl space. She built she built a crawl space. I keep saying it, but like
I was so confused when you guys keep saying like this space. I'm like, until I see the actual thing, I'm like,
right, you're just like, oh wow, I
oh
can't believe,
wow, like
oh
oh
wow.
wow.
Um, yeah, I gotta show a picture of that.
Is there anybody doing the poster for the climb?
We have a you sent us an image for the poster.
No, I mean like the title,
No,
like how you design the poster. No, not
no,
yet.
not yet. Jimmy, what? Jimmy was like talking to this guy about the poster.
Mhm,
I think he met with him.
mhm.
I think that, yeah, that's a Jimmy question.
Okay.
I have to ask Jimmy about that. Um, but honestly, I don't think anything came about with that. So I
What
mean,
is
I
came about me?
what?
What is came about me?
No, nothing came out of that. Like I don't think the dude is actually making the poster. I think because this was before the pandemic. So if this
Mm,
dude was gonna like make the poster would have been done. If you know what I'm saying.
I see.
Um,
I think the
but
poster looks really good. Like I,
yeah,
you
no, the
didn't, you did,
image.
you didn't climb up there, right? Have you
Uh,
climbed
did
up there?
did I? Oh, you mean like the ladder?
Yeah, the tree seat.
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, because that night with that light hitting on, and then like it's snowing, everything just looks so pretty. It's like
Yes. Yeah,
the
no,
view
I
is just like crazy.
and that shot where you're up there and you're like pointing the camera down at him and it's like that close up that cuts him off here
Ugh,
and it's blue and like yeah, like the color is like it's all blue and then that little I just remember like there's that little speck of snow that
just like
runs
hitting
yeah,
on
that
him.
like runs right like at him, right as he's about to like, fall in the, and I don't want to spoil it, but that moment is such an emotional moment. And to just give some context for everybody listening, we're talking about the last scene of the short film that we did. This guy climbs up this ladder that's connected to this tree, and there's a little hunting perch, like where hunters like sit up in the trees and they'll like shoot deer and stuff. That he sees his dead brother up there, and so that's why he's climbing up there, and it's all very surreal and like the colors are everything's blue and this and like the moon shining on him and it's this very like beautiful yet dark scene and you shot that so well. That scene is so creepy. It's exactly what that scene is exactly as you were talking about, like with the whole Tim Burton thing. It's beautiful and it's creepy. It's really pretty, but yet you feel totally like unease the entire time. Yeah, that's so good. I can't wait for people to see that. You did such a good job with that.
I still think it's the best work I have so far.
You think so?
Yeah, I still think so.
Wow.
Because it's just more my stuff, like my kind of stuff. I mean, I work on different projects. Um, I mean, it looks pretty, but I still like think the climbs is my type of stuff, and I really put my effort to make it my style pretty. So
What was it like to see the? Did you see the trailer?
without color, why you post a trailer without color?
We just really wanted to get it out. I know. No. Yeah, we didn't color correct it. So
I was
yeah.
like,
But what was I forget my question is though, like what was it like to see those images again like that?
after so many months, I'm like, oh, I'm seeing it again. Yeah, I was so excited.
It was like seeing your baby, right? It was like, oh my gosh, it's you.
Yay!
Yeah. Um, no. Uh, yeah, I can't wait for people to see it.
Um,
Uh,
is Gabby still doing music, compose?
yes, yes, Gabby Henderson. Just for people, she's a great local film composer, local to the Chicago area. We went to the same high school together. That's actually how
She
that.
did Red Thread music for me.
She did what?
Remember I played in short experimental film about two girls, very red
Yes,
thing.
yes. Was that
She
was
did that music.
Oh, she did. Is that the one where like there's that shot where like it's like a bunch of hands?
Hmm.
Yeah. So she did the music for that. Okay,
Okay.
I didn't know that. That's really
How do
cool.
you know that?
Oh, so wow, wow. I didn't know that she did that. Because that was when we saw that, we were like, we definitely need to get this person on board. That was like that hand shot, that creepy hand shot. That was like I was like, I'm sold. We need this person to be our DP. That's so cool.
Yeah, Gabby, I think Gabby is gonna like the style of Gabby's music is also like very classy, but like the melody is just like floating. I don't know how to say it, but it's like classy in a very good way. And then I think it's gonna fit the film a lot.
I think that well, I think she's just super talented and it's I'm happy that you think it's a good idea because I think that as long as the music complements the images and if you think it's going to do that then that's amazing. Um
Good choice. Picking
yeah.
crew.
Yeah, no, we picked a great group of people to do this. Um oh, I was just gonna ask you something. I forgot. You know what? I just forgot the question I was gonna ask you. I feel so
About the crew?
not about the crew. It was more about Gabby. I guess. Oh yeah, no. It just reminded me. Gabby. I don't know if everyone knows this. Gabby is the person who created the theme song for this podcast.
Ooh.
So I don't know if you've watched any episodes yet. But
I seen the opening,
yeah.
just the title.
Well, the music that plays, that's Gabby's music.
Hmm. Yeah, Gabby.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, just want to give Gabby a little shout out there. She does great stuff. Um, and definitely someone who I think people got to be looking out for. Um, for as far as composing, making film scores. I think she just has a really easy way of going about it. And I do want to get her on the podcast because I want to hear her process and like how she makes.
She used to did production sound for me once on my first DP project. She was the sound person, and after that one, that's the last one she did, and that one she just retired from doing production sounds. So I'm like,
Yeah, was she just sick of holding the boom? Was that literally?
I think she just wants to concentrate more on music
Yeah. No.
rather than just
Um.
hurting back
Yeah.
career.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to pick a lane in that sense. Um. I'm actually on Sunday. Justina and Carol. I'm gonna be their sound person for their short.
What Carol? Who Carol?
I remember Justina and Carol. They were
Oh, Christina and Carol. Yeah,
Justina. Justina.
Justina. Justina.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were on my last set.
Yes. Oh, really? Which one was that?
I did remember I did it on August.
Yeah. Yeah. What was that called? What was that called again?
What do you mean, like the short?
Yeah. What was the? Yeah. What was just the name of it? Of
It's
the
called
short.
the Red and the Black, but I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But they're doing an amazing job.
You did an amazing job. Should this be something that people should be looking out for?
What's that?
Should this short film be something that people are like looking out for? Is it going to be really good?
The climb is still my best work.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, thank you for your loyalty. That was really nice of you to say. But I'm also very excited to. I'll definitely want to check that one out. Um, I'm sure. I'm sure it looks great. No?
I
What is
mean,
it?
it looks okay. Like, it looks okay.
Okay, so I think basically what you're saying is you thought you it wasn't your best work.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You gotta be tough on yourself. You gotta be tough on yourself. I get it. I get it. But I'm sure it all came out amazing. One thing that I want to ask you is, okay, so I know earlier we talked about needing to get experience. That's the only way to get better as a cinematographer is to get experience. What if you're someone who really wants to be a DP but doesn't, like, who has no experience at all, and they, you know, don't really know how to use certain cameras yet, but they want to learn? What should they do? Should they go onto a set and do a different role, that's like close to the DP? Okay.
So for me, how I started in Nepal, like being on set, my first role is a BTS photographer.
Hmm.
And then at that moment, I don't like I never, that set was they use, I don't know why, but they use an Alexa and a Red in the same time.
Really?
But um anyway, so I was there and just looking at different DPs, how they work on different set, like how their method of doing stuff, because everybody have a different style. So whenever I'm on a different set as a different role, sometimes I BTS, sometimes I do second, I do first, I did sound once. And then yeah, all that thing just to be on set more and see more people's workflow, and then know more about gear. If it's possible, just go to rental house and maybe like DePaul rental house or the other rental house, just like um intern, just learn about all the technical stuff. As long as your technical stuff achieve a level, then that tool will become the best um weapon for you to develop your career. That's what I'm thinking. Cause like for me, I still learn from different camera assistant because they're so talented in building camera and arranging camera, and that is like the, I think that's very very important as a camera department. You have to know your camera so that you can make good use of your tool. No matter as a camera assistant or as a DP or as a camera operator, you have to know how it functions. And then let's move on to artistic style thing other than technical stuff. Like for me, before I am a I'm in film, I did photography for like 4 or 5 years already. And then I think that also built up.
You okay? Oh, was that your cereal?
Yep.
Okay. She
I
was
think
eating
that
cereal.
thing like give me a lot of experience of how to for example, how to find the best angle of a person. That's also very important because I'm very good at filming female. That's my strength. That's because I have a background of dealing with women for many years. I mean, not dealing with women, but like interacting with
Yeah.
female character for a long time. That's why I know what angle is the best, what something is the best, and then it's just so important to like have your own style. Um, yeah, have your own style.
That's that's really cool. I did not know that. So, like, what's the difference between capturing a man versus a woman?
Mm, so woman is more picky about their look, obviously. And from because some people are very photogenic, they are good with no matter angles, but some person does not look as good in the camera. That's why a lot of people they need to do like a camera test before they're shooting to find a good angle of the character. And then um yeah, just find just need to know. And for men, because I think especially for a non-Asian character, because I think like Asian people's face is kind of um compared with American, they're a little bit flatter, the structure. So we need like something to really like, for example, lighting wise, we need to be more like even because we don't have a lot of like up and down in our structure. So I think lighting should be a little bit more like even and a little bit flatter for me. But like um for American, like American, like white people, black people, they all have a like a very distinguished structure. That's why I personally think they're like better looking no matter from what angle. That's just my opinion.
Right. Just because it's like, I don't know.
Bone structure wise,
Oh,
lighting wise, and then camera position wise, will just our lens selection wise will make a person looks completely different.
hmm.
So that's a very tricky thing, but very interesting to play with. And I think that thing also set up the mood and the tone and your style of your personal characteristic, or like the style of your DP style or your film style. Don't know if that makes sense.
No, no, it does. No, I mean, that's just really cool stuff to know. I didn't know that. Like, I guess because I mean, I know that for certain, obviously you have to light, um, say if some if there's if it's a white person as opposed to someone who's African American, you have to light them differently just because of how the light is absorbed in the pigmentation of their skin. Like there's just different requirements, but I didn't know that that also applied to camera angles because unless you're a DP, you don't really know that. You know what I'm saying? That's really cool to know. I had no idea.
Because sometimes when we're filming narrative shorts or music video, and then whenever filming music video is more like a beauty shots kind of,
Hmm.
and then like girls will always like I don't look as good, can we try this angle, that angle, I look
Right.
prettier this side, those kind of stuff.
So is there some truth to that? It's not just all in their heads. Like there genuinely is better angles.
I think my right side looks better. It depends.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm like, I look in there and I'm like, I don't know if it's this side or this side. But one of my sides, when I look in the mirror, I'm like, I prefer looking at myself one way versus, I guess, like if I'm like this, like getting this
Mm.
side is better than the other
Yeah.
side for me. Um,
I mean, it's not that we have to obey it when we're filming short, but it's just something that we can also keep in mind. Because making movies is also about making some pretty image. So as long as you make people like a lot of DP, they will care about. I mean, most of the DP will care a lot about skin tone color. And
Right.
then it's like, oh, this lens can make the skin look so pretty. But if they don't really care about how they, what angle they're filming the
Yeah.
subject,
No.
then good skin tone. I mean, it's also important that what angle and also good skin tone. So like some camera people are very technical, and then they will like, oh, um this bouquet, that bouquet, and then they're not really judging the how the subject and the frame. It's just like, oh, the butter soft focus, it's so smooth up there. And then I'm like, hmm, you should pay attention on the main subject.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's depends on what person.
No, that's really fascinating. Um, so for you, what matters to you the most?
I think it's the overall framing matters the most.
Hmm.
Cause for me when I'm taking picture, beside taking like close up, I really like the whole like I do cinematic photos. I want my photos to be cinematic. It's like not only is pretty but also telling a story. So I like how the environment, the light, the shadows, like bring the whole combination of like depth of an image rather than smooth bouquet, I guess.
Hmm.
Or um a lot of people like using a lot of party color. That thing is I haven't tried, but sometimes if you see too much party color, like red, green, everything is in different colors. Sometimes after a while you feel like a little bit boring.
I think when you're talking about like when like someone's like in a room and they just like splash like really saturated colors on them like purple and pink and they like make them.
Yeah, they sometimes they just make the whole film through a whole film with the same kind of color, which is this kind of party color, and then I'm like,
I think if you use it sparingly to highlight certain moments, I think it could be really powerful. Yeah, it's one of those tools or I think techniques. If you overuse it, it just it gets boring after a while, or it gets too predictable. Like say the like breaking the fourth wall and like writing. If a writer knows how to do that, like in a very interesting and unique way, then it's like really good. Like say like Deadpool, when they did it for Deadpool, like that was just really cool and funny. But if you overuse it, and you especially if it's a writer who's just like, oh, I've seen stuff where they break the fourth wall, and that's cool. I'm gonna do that, and then they do it, and it's terrible. It's because it's just like they just like used it for like every scene, like everything that the guy did or the character did, he was just breaking the fourth wall the entire time. I think it's like it's the same principle. It's like I think those shots can look really beautiful, like if you use them for very specific moments and it's like it's this really like powerful and like surreal moment, I think that can really work. But if it's like because I think the film Sorry to Bother You does it really well. Like there's a couple of times where the lighting, have you seen that film? It's really good. Lakeith Stanfield is the star. I'm
sorry to bother you.
Yeah, I'd recommend.
Oh,
Yeah, I would recommend everyone to like look at this. It's really good. Um, yeah, like I forget who the director is, but like Keith Stanfield is like he's the lead, and it's about it basically it's really about class division, class structure in this very surreal presentation, and many times, couple of times they will use that kind of lighting, but they use it in a very purposeful way. They use kind of like that party color atmosphere to get their point across. You know, check it out. It's really good. I agree.
Yeah, that thing is because I feel like I'm not understanding camera that enough compared with a lot of DPs. So in order to make my image different from them, I will use my own style to make my image looks interesting rather than somebody will very good at analyzing um, camera characteristic and lens characteristic. It's just like we have different tools to the same goal.
Right.
Mm.
Like you don't, because some DPs and even some directors, like they, like I like to think of like composing shots with like what lens am I going to use? Like what lens is going to make this shot look really good? Do I need a
Mm.
wide lens? Do I need something like telephoto? Sorry, something that's like a really narrow lens. Um, but then there are other people who communicate, especially with DPs. Excuse me, or just DPs, and they're just like, yeah, I know that I'm gonna frame it this way, and I might use this certain lens, but like you just, I feel like it's more intuitive and less technical. You just know what to do, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Because remember, we make Canon Prime sexy.
That's true.
Because I mean, like honestly, sometimes gear is not that important. Like not that important. Because people use Alexa, but sometimes it doesn't look good at all.
Well, yeah, if someone takes a really good camera and doesn't know how to use it, yeah, no. I mean, yeah, and in the reverse, someone who takes like a what I think some people would consider like a very traditional, very ordinary camera can take that and make stuff look amazing. So it's like you just
Depend on the
need,
person.
yeah, you just need someone to, it depends on the person. And when you're like looking for a DP, or if you are a DP, you just got to have like the skills. It's not about the equipment. Like if you can get an RE or you can get a Red camera, great, awesome, take advantage of that. But it's your skill and your insight that's gonna bring you the gold or whatever.
Because like now people use iPhone to film.
Yeah.
I mean, film is really not a matter of tool, but how they tell story. And so, like, I was having such understanding about the sentence cinematography can't help a story if the story or the directing shit. Like no matter how pretty your thing is, if your story is not good
Right.
or you don't know how to direct somebody's like cinematography cannot help at all.
No, it's useless. I mean,
Yeah,
if the writing is shit, and right, that's really what it is. If the script is bad, everything's gonna be bad.
yeah,
You can add as much nice lighting, you can add as much great, you can have great composition, you can have all these things. Story ain't good. Story ain't good. That's why people are here. They're here to experience a story of some kind. That's good, hopefully. So I mean, if you don't have that, yeah, you meet so many directors, and like especially when you're going through film school, I think there's a lot of directors, and I don't even know if you can call them directors, but
I don't really call myself DP. I call myself a camera operator.
really, why?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think DP is such a big word. Such a big word so far.
Director of photography. That's so.
Like, yes, I think I am not there yet. I don't want to call myself a DP. Hey, so I'm a DP. I call myself a cinematographer.
Yeah, that's, I mean, that's also accurate. I mean, that is who you are, you know. But Yeah, no, well, it's. I mean, I think I would definitely say you are a DP. I mean, I think you have the skill. I'm talking about people who are like directors, who are like, or they go into film school, and the only thing that matters to them is are the shots pretty,
The
and they
what?
like all that the director cares about is are the shots pretty. They don't care if the story is that good. Like that's like secondary. But it's weird because it's like it's as a director, it's not even your job to make the shots pretty. That's the DP's job. That's not it's not even your job to do that. So if you're just obsessed with making shots look good, then what do we need you for? We have a good director of photography here. What is your purpose? Um, you gotta be the director's gotta be someone who's there to shepherd the story and to make the actors good, like to tell the actors what to do. That's like to me the big job of the director is telling the actors like, oh yeah, this is what you should do. This is how you should come off. You know.
I have worked with a very like amazing director. His name is also Tim. He's the Taiwanese.
Oh yeah.
Uh, he just gone back, went back to Taiwan this year because he graduated. But yeah, he is amazing because he know what he's doing while directing and with dealing with I mean, I didn't like DP for him for anything, but I work on his set a couple times and he's my best friend. And then a very experienced director, he really let the whole crew know what's going on, and then he will take care of the actors and actress. That's is very important because me as a camera department, we don't want to deal with actor and actress.
Right.
Like it's not our job. We shouldn't really talk to them. And then it's like so nice to work with not like not like me, but I just feel like I learn a lot from those sets. Like how um head departments manage it, each different sections and make it like run so smoothly. Cause I was on their thesis last year in Taiwan, and the whole crew is about like 50 people. So he
Wow.
has 30 something, almost 40 actors.
Mm-hmm.
So it's called field trip. It's about a high school student go out for a trip. So there are a lot of like student,
Yeah.
and it's non-experienced actor. So and they did a great job. So I think it's really director making them feel comfortable and confident to being themselves and a character.
Right.
So
And
story is so important.
story. Yeah. If you're not obsessed with the story, don't do don't do it. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
And well, and I'm sure with the other Tim in this case, Tim, I'm sure his whole thing was every time he went on set was like, okay, how do I make this actor one feel confident and comfortable in what they're doing, and two, how do I get them to do what
What I
I want them to do and making them do something that they're proud of and that comes from them. And I'm not like forcing it down their throat like you gotta do this. It's like you gotta let because the actor wants to play too. Like the actor wants to do their thing. So you gotta find a balance of okay, I want to be in control of what you're doing, but also like it is your performance at the same time.
hmm
Damn. I hope people are listening. That there's a lot of nuggets of information in here. I think
cut cut away, cut away.
cut away. That's it. We're done. Thank you. Good night, folks. Um, shoot. Well, Doris, this has been amazing. This has been fantastic. Honestly, I could keep going for like another hour. I feel like. Unfortunately, I can't. I do have to get going. But gosh, Tori, it's been so amazing catching up with you through this conversation, and just you're just so amazing. I do have one last question for you before I let you go. Why are you a filmmaker? Why do you do this?
um, well, first of all, I'm not good at writing, but I want to tell story,
Uh,
and I can't compose, but I want to tell story,
right.
and then I can take photos, and I love watching movies, and I think so far in like this area, like this time period, 21st century,
Hmm.
movie is gonna be the best media for everybody to absorb things.
Yes.
And besides like making movie, narrated movie, I'm really have a passion of doing documentary. I love documentary. And then I think that's very like show the truth of a lot of things. So I think movie is the best media to tell people things right now.
Well, I mean, I agree with everything that you've just said, and I think you're doing the right thing. I think you're really good at it. I can't wait to. Please send me your reel because I want to post this as well. I want people to see what you do, so that they, can see how great you what great work you've done. Um, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything. Thank you for being uh, our DP for the climb. Thank you for doing this, and I can't wait to do things with you in the future. Um, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you
No,
for bringing me abroad.
thank you. No, it's this is great. I think this conversation is going to lead people into knowing more about DPs and knowing more about you, and it's just great. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, goodbye for now. I'll see you soon.